Let's look at example number 5. Use the USCS system, classify the soil based on the following lab testing results. We know 48% passing number 4, 20% passing number 200. The liquid limit is 41. The plastic limit is 22. As usual, probably pause the video and take about 2 minutes and work on the problem, and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. Well, this is the first soil classification problem in this set, and you probably would have to know how to do the USCS system, the USCS, and also the ASHTO. And for this problem, we're going to take a look at the USCS, and example number 6, we're going to practice how to use the ASHTO soil classification. So looking at the sieve analysis and also the Atterberg limit test, and it's also always a good idea to do a few things. For the USCS system, it's always good to find out the percentage of gravel and the percentage of sand and the percentage of fines, and make sure you write those numbers down first, and those will be really helpful when you go through all the tables from the reference manual. So we have 48% passing number 4. That means anything that is larger than number 4 sieve would be classified as gravel in the USCS system. So the percentage of gravel would be 100% minus 48%. So we have 52% of gravel. And we have 20% that is passing number 200. So the percentage of fines is 20%. So anything that is smaller than the opening of number 200 sieve, that would be classified as fines. So we have 52%, we have 20%. So all the leftovers would be the sand. So that will be 48% minus 20%. So we have 28% of sand. Okay, so those are the proportions from the sieve analysis, and also we have some Atterberg limit as well. We have the PL is a 41, and there's a small catch over here because later on we're going to look at the A-line chart to determine the classification of the fines. So the plastic limit is not a number that would be directly plugged into that chart, and we actually use PI, which is plasticity index. The definition of PI is PL. Oops. Backtrack a little bit. So this is not PL, that's LL, sorry. So this is LL minus PL, which is 41 minus 22. We have 19. It's 19% of moisture content, so that is the PI. So with all those numbers ready, and I think we're ready to look at the reference manual and classify the soil. So if you go to, I'm using the version 10.2 and find that page. We have a full page that is devoted to the USCS system, and it's actually very easy to use. So first of all, let's look at whether it's a coarse grained or it's a fine grained. So the cutoff number is 50% for the number 200 sieve. So if you have more than 50% of the soil that is a passing number 200, we would consider that to be fine grained soil. For our case, we have 20% So 20% is less than 50%. So we put a check over here. So we're talking about coarse grain soil. And then let's move on to the next column to see whether the soil is gravels or sand. So again, let's look at the number 4 sieve. So how much do we have on number 4 sieve? Well, anything that is retained on number 4 sieve or above number 4 sieve are gravels. So we have 52% of gravels from our results over here. We have 52%. And now we're looking at gravels because, yeah, 52% is larger than 50%. So we check this column over here. So we're talking about gravels. And so let's move on to the next column. We're talking about clean gravels or we're talking about gravels with sand. So that depends on how much fine do we have, right? So we have 20% of fine. That 20% is more than 12%. So for our case, we are talking about gravels with fines, right? And you probably have noted that you have a little superscript over here because you have less than 5%, you have more than 12%, you will definitely have a case that your fine is between 5 and 12. So again, that's not the case over here, but you should be prepared that your problem in the exam, they might give you something in between. So if that's going to be the case, just move on to this little superscript and just take a look at you where that would fit. Okay, so we're not going to get into that for this problem. Again, we have the third check, and then move on. Do we have a GM or GC? That really depends on how we would classify our fines. And this is where we would need the A-line chart. The A-line chart is down here. So you have a liquid limit on the x-axis, and you have the plasticity index (PI) on the y-axis. And we just calculated. We know that our liquid limit (LL) is 41, so we can go ahead and find that 41. And our PI, if you remember, we got a 19 from our calculation. So 41 going up. 19 probably will stop it here. This is 20, so somewhere over here. And our fine will be classified as CL or OL. So CL lean clay, OL organic lean clay. But most of the cases, we wouldn't consider our soil to be organic. So the soil would always be inorganic. So our fine will be classified as a CL. So with that information, let's go back to the table. Our fines will be classified as a CL. So this is a check. And then the final answer will be GC. So our symbol for the classification would be GC. So A is the right answer. Okay, so sometimes it could be rare, but okay, I take it back. Sometimes they would also ask you to provide the group name. Because a group symbol can be a lot, but the group name can be a little bit more specific. So for this case over here, clay gravel might not be the right answer because you have to again take a look at the EFG, all those three superscripts. And let's go ahead and take a look at those EFG and find the group name for our soil as well. So let's go to the EFG. So we have an E. If the soil contains more than 15% of the sand, add with sand to group name. So this one would apply for us because our sand, if I remember right, was about 28%. 28% is more than 15%, so we definitely have to apply E. And our fine is not classified as CL and ML, so we don't need the dual system. And our fines are not organic, so we don't have to worry about G as well. So the full classification, the symbol is GC, but the group name would be, for this specific soil, it will be clayey gravel with sand. That will be the group name. Okay, so that's pretty much about it for this problem. Again, clayey gravel with sand. That's the full name, group name for this soil. Okay, so yep, that's it for example number 5.